views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Rick and Jack. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome,
A lot to talk about this week. A lot of it related to pandemic and sensibility, but we're going to start with, again, thanks for joining us. We always love having this show every week, every Wednesday. Hope you watch it, tell your friends about it, tune in. It's got a lot of great sports information, but today we're going to focus on a few things, a little more on college football. We're going to start off right off the bat and talk college football since it's heating up. You got a couple good games this week, and what are your observations about the top 4 or 5 teams, and what are you seeing that you like in the college game of what we have so far? As you all know, Pac-12 and Big Ten, I believe, start November 7th around there. But then we'll have more football. But we'll find out who's really number 1. But what's your observations?
That Ohio State is number 6 already, and they haven't played a game.
Well, Penn State's like 9 too, right? And they haven't played a game, so that's comical
That's
to me.
crazy.
Rate the teams that are playing, not teams that aren't playing.
Yeah, at least play a game before you start ranking them. Come on.
You see how tainted these ratings are. There's people out there, and those ratings are based on a certain amount of people get a vote, and people that are related to college football, and people are voting for Ohio State and Penn State, and you can bet they're alumni from those schools. But
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. We're going to concentrate on who's playing now, and teams like USC and Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State. We'll worry about them around the 1st of November. But what do you think? What do you see so far in college football?
I really like Clemson, the way they're playing, but I think Georgia is gonna. I think at the end it's probably gonna be Georgia.
Georgia looks unbelievable.
It's
the speed on that defense.
When they play, it's like men playing against boys. It's just everything that they want to do right is happening. Is working. So that's my long shot, as far, not necessarily long shot, but that's my pick to win the championship at the end. So
yeah, I would have to agree with you. And again, we don't know what Ohio State has this year. They actually originally were rated number 1 before they were even playing, but Ohio State will be there. They got a lot of talent. That quarterback is great quarterback. So I'm with you. I like what I see in Georgia, but right off the bat here early in the season, we got Georgia and Alabama. Bama favored by 6 points at home. I mean, what you like? You think Georgia's going to go in there and beat them? You think they're going to whack them over there in Alabama?
Just based on the way they've been playing,
-6
the last couple of weeks, and I think this game is actually going to be the test for them to see, like, are we as good as we are looking, or now we're going to see some type of adversary, and can we get over that and pull through?
From what I saw, Georgia, when they played Auburn and what they did to them, Auburn was favored in that game. I mean, they embarrassed them. It was a high school team against a college team. It really was not even fair, and Georgia has continued to go on and continue to play great ball. They got a good ball club there, and it's going to be I'm going to take Georgia in that game. I'll take 6 points all day long, but I'm going to take Georgia, and so we'll see what happens. But I'm with you. I believe that if they stay injury-free, they're going to be right there.
And
but again,
that's
still
key.
early. We could change that. We don't know what Ohio State and Michigan and some of these USC, Oregon, these schools from the Pac-12, if any of them are any good. So we'll keep updating you. But as of today, we think a lot about Georgia, right?
I like them. I like them to go a long way. So
yeah, a couple other games that I was interested in. Miami, who really got beat up by Clemson. I mean, we didn't say much about Clemson, but great quarterback, great team, well coached, a lot of talent again, talent receivers, good quick defense. So Clemson's for real, and they're going to be there. They're going to be one of the Final Four, no doubt about it. But they really beat up Miami, who was playing pretty well, was undefeated. Miami giving 10 to Pittsburgh this week. What do you think about that? You think Pittsburgh's going to play with them in Miami?
You know what? I think they'll get that 10 points. I think they'll cover.
I do too. I believe they took such a beating, and they're actually a pretty good football team. They're much improved under Manny Diaz. He's a good coach, and he's been there a couple years now. They've struggled. Miami is not what they used to be in the old days, but I think they're going to go out and beat Pittsburgh pretty good at home. So if you're betting on games this weekend, put a couple of bucks on Miami and give the 10 points. And you had one interesting game. What was the game you thought was something that our viewers should be looking at and making a few coins on?
It's Auburn, South Carolina. Auburn -3. I think South Carolina. For some reason, when South Carolina, when they play up to the talent on the other team. So I think they're gonna cover that 3. They may even pull an upset and win that. I like South Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take Auburn. I think Auburn is. They're going to get better. They're a good football team. They've had a couple hiccups. Sometimes not well coached, but a good talented team. I'm a little bit interested in this game. University of North Carolina. They are rated number 5 in the country. They're not used to that. They've been pretty good the last couple of years, but number 5, are they that good?
No. Well,
are they that good?
No. Well, the overall the pool is weak right now.
Yeah. But within the conference, we'll see what happens. But they're going to play Florida State, who was, man, I don't know what happened to Florida State. I mean, they continue. They keep bringing in coaches, and Florida State looks terrible out there, but North Carolina 13.5 points against Florida State at home. Do you think they're going to beat them? Is Florida State a team of that prestige that bad?
I don't know.
The
Maybe the bookies,
there, Bobby Bowden?
The bookies know more than we do. So.
Hey, absolutely no more than I do. I'll tell you that.
That looks odd to me. So me personally, I'll stay away from that.
Yeah, me too. I'm just looking at North Carolina here at, highly rated number 5. And again, Notre Dame's number 4. I've watched Notre Dame a couple times. That's a good football team. They can really run the football. And again, they got an experienced quarterback. These teams that in college, when you got the experienced quarterback, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, college is really one game that the quarterback is so important. I mean, and Notre Dame has a very good quarterback, been there a couple years, and Notre Dame looks like they might be right there. They're a decent team, but they're not playing USC this year, so they got a break to play the mighty Trojans. Whew. There's a school, wow. Anyways, USC. University of Southern California, not the University of South Carolina. Anyways, that's a few things that we're talking about football. We'll talk college football. We'll talk more and more about it as we go.
What about Georgia and Alabama? Who you go?
We both said. I said Georgia. I said I was going to take Georgia straight out.
Oh, okay.
You too, right?
Yeah. Money line on that.
I'm definitely all over Georgia, and listen. I'll take the 6 points. I mentioned that earlier. I absolutely will take Georgia. I mean, watch that game. It's 5 p.m. our local time here in Vegas, and it's on CBS. Don't miss it. It'll be a good game. Anyways, anything else you want to go through on college football?
No.
That sticks out to you? You're looking for more teams to play, I know.
Absolutely. The pool right now is it's a small pool, and teams that are ranked, I believe that shouldn't be ranked right now. But let's see once these other conferences open up and start playing.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have a better aspect of what's going on, and hopefully, because they're having bowl games and everything. It's going to be like a regular season.
It's going to be a regular season, and I think the Pac-12 is whether they're going to play 6 games or 8 games. It's not a lot, so they want to be eligible for the Final Four, and so does the Big Ten. They're playing a limited schedule, and they're both only playing conference schedules. So, I mean. Who do we really know is any good?
Strength, and it's going to be strength
yeah.
schedule. So, do you really want to blow out your somebody else in your conference? Because sometimes they like to run up the score, but it's going to diminish.
Pac-12 is famous for it. For running up scores. Hey, Oregon loves to do it. The Ducks run up scores against poor teams like
Pete
Stanford
Carroll
and
used
USC.
to do it too.
Oh, I know. Pete used to love to give it to UCLA, but occasionally they got him. So, anyways, those were the good old days when USC had real football. But anyways, I think that's enough of college football this week. We'll see how it goes. And again, Ohio State may be the best team in the country once they start playing. They're pretty loaded.
Let them play first before we start.
Let it happen. Let it happen.
We're all good on paper, right?
Yeah, let it happen. Let's not talk about college football anymore. On to the next thing. Baseball. Boy, oh boy, these couple of series for our champions. You predicted Tampa for the championship. You look like you're right on. They're going to be in the World Series. Tampa leads Houston, as most of you know that watch sports, 3-0. Houston continues to make errors and look pretty bad. Keep hitting the ball and leaving men on base. Houston has been playing good baseball until they get men on base, and then when they get on base, they can't drive them home. So Tampa Bay up 3-0. That series is over. They may lose tonight, but they're not going to lose 4 straight. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think
Dominant team.
that series is over, along with
Dodgers versus Atlanta?
yes,
You're saying the Dodgers are done?
Yes, absolutely.
You're saying the Dodgers are done?
Are you saying just because you say they're coming alive doesn't mean they're
Well,
alive?
Last night they were down 7-1 and made a ferocious comeback in the 9th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and they lost 8-7 with the man left on third base ready to tie that game. I think the Dodgers bats did come alive. I think the Dodgers woke up. They used the excuse last night that Kershaw got scratched at the last second because of back spasms. That was why they were in a downer. I don't believe all that. You're grown men playing baseball, making a lot of money. To me, if I'm playing, I go out and play. I don't care if Kershaw's pitching or not.
Yeah, it doesn't
I got to
matter
hit the ball and I got to catch the ball.
I still have to do my job.
Man, I mean, Atlanta has looked dominant. They're one of the teams. They got that look of the Washington Nationals of last year. They love each other. They're very motivated. They are pumped up in that dugout like Washington was last year. You know, Atlanta could be the team, but there's something telling me the Dodgers are going to come back. I can't wait till next week's show to discuss it because I believe the Dodgers are going to come back and win that series. Something is telling me that. That means they got to win 4 out of 5. Can they beat Atlanta 4 out of 5? You're more than likely right, but I grew up a Dodger fan. I've been a Dodger guy my whole life, so I'm going to go out on a limb and go with my Dodgers and say they're coming back and they're going to make it a series. They may not win, but I think the Dodgers are going to win it.
I think they would be able to come back if it was a regular playoff series where they had a couple days in between to say, where now with the 7 consecutive days of play, I don't think so. On next year or on a normal year, yes, absolutely, because you can play with your pitchers more. Now you literally have to be on schedule with your pitchers to make sure that you can survive that 7-game series if you need to.
That's well put because, you got to throw every day, man. And you need that bullpen. You need pitchers every day. Yes. I don't think the Dodgers have the bullpen that they have in Atlanta. And even though Atlanta, I don't know what happened last night. I mean, they had given up 6 runs in 6 games. They were undefeated. Of course, they were undefeated in 7 playoff games, which is impressive. Only team undefeated. But they became vulnerable last night, and I don't know what happened, but the Dodgers were banging the ball those last 3 innings. Did the Dodgers come alive? I don't know. But there's something telling me the Dodgers aren't going out like that. But you know what I was thinking about this morning? About the Dodgers, maybe they're not as good as we think they are. When you think about their record, 40-20, the best record in baseball this year, 40-20. And then I went and I looked at the teams they played. All they played were the teams in their division and the teams in the American League West. Well, if you combine the records of all the teams they played, they have a losing record. And I thought to myself, who were the Dodgers really beating? Arizona, Colorado, the Giants, Texas, the great California Angels? The Dodgers weren't beating anybody. So maybe they're not as good as the press, and maybe I'm totally wrong. Atlanta's a much better ball club, but I'm intrigued. I watch it every night. I'm a guy who watches that 4-hour and 13-minute game.
But
crazy.
But the teams that they played, the teams that they beat, they were supposed to beat those teams. So
Yeah.
how can you say, like, just because they have a losing record doesn't mean that the Giants or the Dodgers didn't show up to play? You're supposed to beat those teams based on that record. So they did what they're supposed to do and have the best record. I just think that when it comes to playoffs and baseball, pitching makes a big difference.
No doubt about it.
And
no doubt about it.
The pitching needs to be better.
Who the Braves throwing tonight? They're throwing another rookie. 2 rookies in a row have won games, by the way. They got them both through the 4th inning.
K. Wright, and then you guys are throwing.
You guys? Who are you saying you guys?
The Dodgers, because I think you guys.
Who's this you guys? The Dodgers are throwing who?
I think it's Urias.
Oh, Urias.
Urias.
Oh, he's a fine pitcher. The kid from Mexico. Yeah, he's like 22 years old. Forget it. The Dodgers win against K. Wright tonight from Atlanta. Okay, you can call me you guys. I'm going to go with the Dodgers. Hey.
Not that I'm
a
against
homer, man.
you
Hey,
guys.
I grew up a Dodger fan. I mean, from the time I was that big a long time ago. I've been watching the Dodgers and cheering for them. So I think they're going to be okay, even though they failed us for how many years in a row that they haven't won it, and people said they would. I believe the Braves are in trouble, believe it or not, down 2-0. But we'll see. We'll talk about it next week. Anyways, good luck. You made a great pick on Tampa early. I think I said Yankees, or I said watch out for Houston and Minnesota. So I was bouncing all over the place like a ping pong ball. But you've been straight with Tampa.
I just felt that anybody that came out of that, the Yankees and Tampa Bay, whoever came out of that series, they were going to represent in the World Series, and it's coming in right now. So
very shrewd though. If you've been a bettor and you've been playing Tampa every day, it's 7-0. Tampa has won. The Braves have won 7 in a row. Tampa has lost how many games? Not many. One. They lost one to the Yankees, right?
Yes,
that was the only loss.
That was the first one where you thought, okay, the Yankees might take this, and
then they beat the holy you know what out of them. So
yeah,
Tampa looks good. The Braves look good. The Dodgers aren't done. Houston can say goodbye and go home and lick their wounds because they're done. But they may drag it out.
They can go back and watch some more tape.
Oh yeah.
And steal some
They
signs.
need to. They need to. Anyways, well, we have a new basketball champion.
Yes.
NBA we're talking about. Pretty much a foregone conclusion, right?
Yes.
Once the Lakers picked up Mr. Anthony Davis, it was a foregone conclusion. Many people believe the Clippers, way back last October, like LeBron said, they've been playing for a year. I mean, they stopped. Anyways, when you think about last year, the season started, I believe, October 29th in 19, and they just finished. So it's a year-long season. They're probably not going to play till what, January, February?
Maybe January, February to get their bodies back and basically see how they're going to do this again. Are they going to do bubble style, or put it in the air like say the NFL is do limited capacity, all that stuff. Give them time to have
They'll
procedures.
figure it out. Yeah. What's your assessment in the end? Give me an overview of what you saw and what you expected to happen, and what you think of the Lakers championship.
I picked the Lakers to win from the get-go. But one of my assessment as far as like I'm in a sense proud of the way Jimmy Butler played the entire series, and it's just
unbelievable.
It was unfortunate that it didn't go their way, but there's no need for them to have their heads low. Their heads still be high.
Not. Champions.
Fifth, they were number 5.
Number 5 seed, yeah.
5 seed, and then they end up going to the championship. Hey, and this is something that they can build on moving forward. Just don't be an Atlanta Falcon and just go nosedive after losing the championship.
No, I think that Miami, they're about one player away. I mean, I think they need a big man. Adebayo he's a little bit small to be playing center. I think that they need a real good big man. Maybe DeMarcus Cousins. They say he's healthy again, and he's bounced around from a lot of teams and been with Golden State. The Lakers got hurt constantly. They say I was watching a tape of his workout the other day, and he looked totally healthy, in shape, lost weight, and he's ready to play basketball. But is he healthy enough? So a guy like that, if healthy, can really help Miami. The Lakers are loaded. They'll lose some of those players, but they're going to be good again. And I'll come right out and right in front of our audience. I'll say that at the beginning of the year, I picked the Clippers to win it all before the season started. I ended up paying a lot of. I haven't paid them yet. I owe people a lot of dinners out there, at least 5 or 6 of them. I ate a lot of crow. I didn't bring my crow along today. He wanted to stay home and rest and visit his friends. But I ate crow on that one, and a lot of people are going to eat good on me because I'm going to dish up some dinners. Not unfortunately. Listen, to me, I didn't care who won in L.A. Again, I'm from L.A., and I was for both teams, but I really thought the Clippers would be the team. And the difference was the mental capacity of the Lakers versus the Clippers. The Clippers really fell apart.
Well, it's not even just with the Lakers and the Clippers. It was with everyone in that bubble. It's like after every team exits, now you're finding all the mental stuff that they were going through, and you're not thinking like, oh, are they doing? They're getting millions to play basketball. Like, what's so hard? No, but you're away from your family, you're away from your normal routine, and all you're doing is eating, drinking, and sleeping basketball.
Yeah. 90 days in the bubble,
Yeah.
or more.
With no
Some
COVID
guys-
cases either.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. And they didn't have many hiccups. A couple guys messed up,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a lot. But I mean, those guys should all be proud. The NBA should be proud. The doctors, the nurses that were there. I mean, it was really well pulled
and their
off.
procedures.
Yeah, and the procedures. Yeah, and everybody seemed to be very vigilant to the procedure. They stayed on track and did their testing and did what they had to do. And you know, I'm kind of like respectful of what they did. And the same thing with hockey. Hockey was almost COVID-free, and I mean, both those things in the bubble were great. And you know, on that point, again, congratulations to the Lakers and a great win. And LeBron is the beast that they say he is, and MVP for many years. And LeBron's a leader, man. That guy's a leader.
I really like the way he performed this entire series and defying, I guess what I like to say, father time. Performing like that.
Beast.
In a sense, like he's got a good 20-year, as far as basketball wise, because of all the games that he's played in the playoffs. He's about 20 years in.
17 plus with all the playoff games.
Yeah.
I mean, you were telling me what, 3 years?
Like almost 3 years worth of basketball.
Extra basketball playoff.
Yeah, so it's like almost 20 years, 20 seasons in the amount of basketball he's been playing. So kudos to him. 10 out of the last 11
Congratulations,
finals.
Lakers.
He's played the last game of the season.
Yeah. And I mean, this year he was injury-free the whole year.
Yes.
And he, like you were saying when we were having a meeting yesterday prior to this show, you were saying that the guy stays in incredible shape. He works harder in the off season than he does during the season.
And very
he constantly
disciplined.
works on his body.
And he's very disciplined in that. One person I do want to bring up though that I was so, in a sense, I was happy to see how he played during this finals, and that's Rajon Rondo.
Oh.
And I want to give him credit for just the way he performed.
Absolutely.
And just his basketball IQ and the mental toughness and the leadership that he showed during that finals. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I agree. Kudos to Mr. Rajon Rondo. He had an incredible playoffs. He got healthy just before the playoffs. I think the second round he started playing again. And man, you're right. Much respect to him. And now he's won 2 championships, and I'm sure he'll be back next year. But man, you are right. He was great, and he was a real catalyst there. So thanks for bringing that up. And again, congratulations to the Lakers and their great effort, good coaching, and their whole staff. And Clippers, you're going to get a new coach now. They're talking about Tyronn Lue. I hope not.
Well, they need more than a new coach. They need a new culture there.
Yeah, starting with the owner, who is way too involved and acts like an idiot at the ball games. But I won't talk about him. A guy turns me off so much by the way he acts at basketball games. It's ridiculous. Most owners are a little bit more sedate than him. And in the end, you look foolish because your team, the most talented team in the NBA, looked terrible.
But there was no
leadership.
There was no unit cohesion in that sense. So
yeah. Anyways, anything else on the NBA?
Congratulations to Jeannie Buss being the first female owner out there to actually win a champion. And there are other females owner out there, but she's like the front of the organization.
Class.
End up winning a championship. So kudos to her. When things seemed like it was bad, people were saying that she should hire. Basically she shouldn't be running it. And in a sense, like took it over from her brother, push him out, and eventually look where they at.
Yeah.
They won a championship, and hoping they can win a couple more in the next few years.
Yeah, and we got to give a lot of credit to Rob Pelinka, her right hand man. He weathered that storm of Magic bad-mouthing him and saying he was a backstabber and how terrible he was for the organization. And who was terrible for the organization was Magic. And Pelinka hung in there and took the criticism and just continued to work. Yeah. And he's a great GM, and he's also a good dude. So I really like that guy. So,
but
it's a class organization now. They got rid of Jim Buss. They got rid of Mitch Kupchak, who they were doing nothing over there but causing problems and big contracts and all kinds of salary cap problems. But Pelinka and Buss and, you know, the whole team.
Do you know who his first phone call was to?
Who?
Pelinka.
Who?
Magic.
Yeah, and he the thing that's amazing, you know, we're continuing here because it was a lot of fun. The thing that was amazing, Jeannie Buss on the interview show afterwards said, we want to thank Magic. Rob Pelinka said, we want to thank Magic for what he brought to this organization and his work here. But what bothers me is the way he left. I mean, he has an interview and everybody finds out that he's bouncing out of there because he can't be who he needs to be. And we don't know what happened, but I lost a lot of respect, to be honest with you. Hey, great NBA player, one of the best ever. God bless him. I don't know the guy from anybody. But me, as far as my ethics go, you don't quit a job and just let everybody know via the press. That's just me. Love him, hate him, whatever. I just don't think it was right. But again, go back to the great things, the happiness of it. Great organization now. Got rid of the people that didn't belong. And I love what the Lakers are doing, and I'd love to see them repeat because they deserve it. Well thought out team. And Anthony Davis is going to re-sign with them.
I hope so too. He's won his first championship, and he's in the organization now, but they're used to winning, and they want to continue to win, and they'll do the things.
It was
to
10
win.
years between championships. So, I mean, it's great. But anyways, that's enough of basketball. Again, congratulations to the whole Laker organization. You should be very proud of what you did, and I know you are. Please, we got our football show coming up here pretty quick with NFL picks and talk football, talk NFL football with Rick and Jack. But we want to close on an NFL note. Something we were talking about is the compliance in the NFL. And how safe is this whole thing with all these COVID cases? Are these players being compliant to what's going on? And are they doing what the league is asking? Are they doing what their teams are asking? Or are they leaving practice and going out to the bars and partying and eating out and hanging around friends? What's going on in the NFL with all these COVID cases? And it's funny, certain teams, there's no problems. Other teams, consistent problems. Philadelphia, Houston, Tennessee.
Patriots,
that's the other one I was thinking about. Constant problems.
I think there's a little bit of selfishness in it, where you're not quarantined like they were in the bubble for basketball. Like, do your necessary precautions, and then, to be honest, wash your damn hands.
Yeah.
And
Be compliant. Be compliant, because that's what's happening. Players aren't being compliant.
And
when you're done, like you said, wash your hands.
And be unselfish.
Take your test. Be unselfish. And after practice or the game, go home, because you know these guys. And it's tough to control. You got 53 men on that roster plus 8 guys that are the backup on the taxi squad. So you got all those players, 61 players, plus a huge staff, plus a huge coaching staff, medical staff. There's probably 130 moving parts there with players and staff. When you look at NBA and hockey, there's not that many people, maybe 30 in the whole thing with them. But when you're talking about that many people, you got a lot of people to be compliant, and there's always the knuckleheads that aren't going to be compliant.
Yeah. And so with all of that, you have to think my actions is gonna affect 29 other people.
Yeah.
So don't be selfish. And not to mention your family at home, or whatever the case of the people that you hang around with, because of your selfish decision.
Yeah. And it is compelling, the fact that there are so many moving parts on an NFL team, and it's so much tougher than any of the other sports, because again, you got 61 players that are out on that field every day, not including injuries. But then you got all that staff. How many coaches? How many medical staff? How many trainers? It's tough, and everybody has to be compliant. But please, NFL, pay attention, be safe. We want to watch the NFL. I really don't want to be watching games on Tuesday night, to be honest with you. I'm one of those guys that loves it.
Tuesday
so I'm
night?
watching,
You mean Tuesday afternoon?
Tuesday, 4 o'clock, I guess it started.
Gosh.
But I'm watching a game on Tuesday, and I'm like, this is turning me off, man. And NFL is supposed to be on, really even Thursdays. I don't like it that much. NFL is People's Sunday and Monday Night Football. I mean, that's how we grew up. Oh, Tuesday. Now next week we got 2 Monday night games, I believe.
We have a Monday afternoon football and then a Monday night football.
So anyways, we'll talk more on our football show, but this has been fun today. We've covered a lot of good subjects, a lot what's going on. Anything else you wanted to add, or anything that caught your eye during the week? And we'll finish this show up and go on and do our other show, NFL Picks. So anything to finish up with?
Just congratulations to Jeannie Buss and the whole Laker organization for their winning their championship. And back to you.
Well, I wanted to finish with, I'm excited college football is happening and some of the things that are going there. But one thing, what I wanted to finish with today was something that really touched me and caught me was, I know we all know by now that, Dak Prescott had a terrible, terrible ankle injury in the middle of the game, and anybody who was watching and saw it happen and saw how grotesque the ankle looked and how bad that was. And what amazed me was the passion and the compassion for him. Players on both teams going up, hugging him, knowing that he had that injury. He knew he was done for the year. The way he was crying on that cart when they were taking him off the field, the way he was crying because he knew he wasn't going to be there with his guys anymore this year. And the passion and the compassion, and I got a new respect for Mr. Prescott because that ankle was hurting like crazy. He got operated on that night. They didn't wait. He was operated. That ankle was that bad, was that badly dislocated and broken. And what a young man. He's still a young man to act the way he did, and so much love for the game, and it hurt him so much. Did you see him crying going off the field? Amazing.
I almost
What a
cried.
man. Yeah, it brought a tear to my eye, and I heard many people say that. So I wanted to finish by saying, God bless you, Dak Prescott. Quick recovery, 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 months. Not weeks, 4 to 6 months.
Oh, it destroyed my fantasy team, though.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
Beyond that, we much respect, and this has been a great show. Thanks for tuning in today. We love talking sports. We have different subjects every week. We'll start talking more about the Breeders' Cup and the upcoming golf, the big golf tournament coming up in a few weeks. But thank you very much for watching. We hope we brought some great information and happiness to your life with our show. And thanks for all your input today, and thanks for your great input on the Lakers. I think you did a great job of congratulating them, and that's really cool. So thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
God bless. See you guys later.